If you've been playing GTA Online on PC over the past week, I'm certain the phrase Ballstorture,
the dreaded Ballstorture invite. This social club account called Ballstorture has been terrorizing the community for the past month.
Somehow, someone has found a way to send out mass invites to thousands of players at one time.
And the worst part is, there's not even a way to really block this guy. That's what makes this more frustrating than anything.
There's been a new exploit going out, and it kicks you straight to spectator inside of another session.
My man has been playing GTA Online since the meteor hit Earth.
But it's definitely scary times, as this hasn't been fixed yet, and Rockstar hasn't even acknowledged it, and it's definitely a big issue.
And most importantly, what exactly is their motive?
Imagine this. It's March of 2022, and after a hard day of work or school, you decide to play some GTA Online. Everything seems normal at first, until eventually, you receive a game invite from a player that you've never seen before. And his name simply reads Ballstorture. It's weird, but you don't think too much of it, until you get another invite from him 30 minutes later. Then another, and another, and another, all from the same person. You try everything to get the account to stop spamming you, but nothing works. So as a last-ditch effort, you decide to Google it to see if there's something you can do to stop it. And that's when you realize that every GTA player across the entire world is dealing with the same problem. Ballstorture is literally everywhere for everyone. This was the reality for every player for a whole month. And just when players thought that he might have been stopped, he came right back a little while later with one last final exploit that seemed even worse than what they had already been facing. So, let's dive into the absolute most bizarre exploit in GTA Online history, and one of the worst cases of Rockstar's failed security that we've ever seen. If you've played GTA Online long enough, then you know that the game and its security has always been a big issue for Rockstar. First in 2013 with DNS codes, where players were able to acquire billions of dollars. Then in 2015 with the PC release, when everyone was able to use mod menus. And of course, we can't forget about peer-to-peer connections that allow IPs of every single player to be leaked within a lobby. While those examples are all exploits with clear motives to either cheat, earn money, or target specific players, the Ballstorture phenomenon was unlike anything that GTA Online and Rockstar had ever seen before. First reported back on February 21st of 2022, players from all across the world began getting spammed invites from the same player, simply known as Ballstorture. At first, many people thought it was just their friends playing a prank on them given the absurd name of the account, until they came to realize that this wasn't happening to just them. It didn't matter who you were, where you were playing, or at what hours. And it wasn't just GTA Online either. It didn't matter whether you were in a private session, you had your messages turned off, or if you were even in story mode. You still got spammed with these messages non-stop. This problem only seemed to get even worse over the following weeks, as the method of this exploit had been leaked, allowing multiple accounts to start spamming people as well. A lot of which were promoting random Twitch streams for people who didn't even play the game. So even if you decided to block one account, one more would pop up right after. But by far the weirdest part is that clicking on the profile of one of these accounts would almost always come up with a spoofed profile of a completely different name, with the sole exception of Ballstorture. The originator behind this strange exploit was the only account that actually had a profile of the same name linked to it, and his account was anything but normal. For instance, his playtime was over 25,000 years, which clearly showed he was modding, but this mass spamming of hundreds of thousands of players wasn't a mod that anyone had been familiar with before. And even though these invites were annoying, they were the least of players' problems. If you were playing around this time in 2022, you might remember randomly getting sent to spectator mode for no apparent reason, and that was all because of this Ballstorture exploit. This affected nearly every player at random. You would just be kicked from your lobby, invite-only session, or even mission, and sent to watch another player, and the only way to leave was to restart your entire game, and even if you did, it was likely to continue happening. People would also begin noticing extreme drops in their game's performance as soon as these invites and exploits began. It seemed that the sole purpose of this exploit was just to annoy people and not much else. Even if for some reason you decided to accept one of these invites, the worst that would happen was either your game would freeze or it would just crash entirely. This finally led everyone to ask the big question: who the hell is Ballstorture? And more importantly, what does he get from doing this? As for who he is, we still don't know, and it's likely that we never will. However, why he was doing this is something that was highly debated within the GTA forums. Most people theorized that they were using this to farm IPs, and not from random players, but from every player around the world. While this sounds like a big problem, and certainly could lead to them, your IP being available to any hacker was already prevalent in GTA Online due to peer-to-peer connections, so the theory didn't match what was going on. This constant barrage of invites would continue for almost a month, without Rockstar even so much as acknowledging that it was happening. However, around the end of March of 2022, it seemed as though Rockstar had finally gotten a handle on this situation, as players would stop reporting getting invites from this unknown attacker. But while it seemed like the problem had been fixed, exactly 1 year later, Ballstorture had returned yet again, and to make matters worse, the exploit only escalated even further. Around mid-March of 2023, and just after the release of the newest Last Dose update, it seemed that Ballstorture was back, and not just in the same way, but now he was able to infiltrate people's lobbies, and even claims that he was able to join their solo sessions as well. With this came another new exploit that had players especially on edge due to possibly affecting their actual money. Bounty notifications began popping up for players that read, "Ballstorture has survived the negative $99 million bounty you placed on them." This had people freaked out, thinking that money had actually been wiped from their accounts for the cost. However, luckily this wasn't the case, and it was just a message to troll players. Although some people have even reported having mass amounts of money taken and then replaced within their accounts for no apparent reason, with people suspecting it was another one of Ball's antics, but whether it was him or not is still unknown. However, as a change of fate from a year prior, this new exploit would only last for a few days before players would cease to receive another invite or bounty from Ballstorture ever again, officially putting an end to this exploit for good. So the real question then is, how did this happen? How is it that a single account was able to spam over 500,000 people at one time with invites and display false messages across the entirety of the GTA community? Well, to no one's surprise, it seems the most short and simple answer seems to be that Rockstar's social club security sucks. Whoever was behind the Ballstorture account had gotten access to the social club's API in order to target every single registered player all at once. Then at some point, the method for this exploit had been leaked, which allowed hundreds of other people or accounts to do the same thing, causing an endless chain of people being able to spam messages to everyone. Whether or not this method differs from the exploit that was seen a year later in 2023 is still unknown. But it's fair to say that at this point, we have finally seen the end of this mysterious attacker, and the legend of Ballstorture remains forever a meme within the GTA community.